Thank you, Bruce. How's everybody feeling? It's funny how one word can get so much response. A word like outbound. Or a word like homebound. I don't know where that came. So I was thinking, I had a little drive here. I live in Royal Oak, Michigan, probably the coolest city in Michigan outside of this city. And I was thinking on the drive, because I think when I'm alone, right? And this is you all think when you're alone. And I'm thinking to myself, what's the most important thing, the past, the present, or the future? All of the people who thought the present was the most important said it right away. They said it's the present. Let's see a show of hands. How many of you think the present is the most important of the three? Interesting. How many think the past is the most important? Not many. How many think the future is the most important? Yeah, it's interesting. You know, all the studies show that most people, if you're young, for example, if you're just been born, you're a baby, up until around 16, 17 years old, almost overwhelmingly think that the present is the most important. You think about a baby's needs and how they crave instant gratification. A lot of young people come to favor instant gratification. I want popcorn now, you know. And then in that next age from like, say, 17, 18, up until, say, 40, 45, somewhere in that area, maybe later, 55, 58, people are thinking a lot about the future, right? They're thinking about retirement, or they're thinking about how things will be in a few years. And then after you get to be really old, it appears that you don't have much of a future, so you start thinking about, the past is by far the most important part of my life, And so I know that you're thinking about your future. If you've just come back from a trip, you're thinking about the fact that your world has just been opened up with a can opener. And if you're outbound, you're thinking, well, my world is about to become opened up, and you're exactly right. And I think that all of you are maybe in that transition of starting to think about how the future may be more important to you than the present, because maybe it is. I think even if you're young, 16, 17, 18 years old, that you still have had some life-defining moments. I think everyone in this room has had life-defining moments. I've had 3. And I'll share them with you as a bit of a supplement to the kind introduction that Bruce just gave me. And the first was that when I was very young, in 5th grade, a guy came to the school that I was at, and he had a bunch of instruments with him, like a trumpet and a clarinet and string instruments like the violin. And he offered, it's like this he put out this big little warehouse of instruments, and we had to choose which instrument we were going to play. And I'd have to tell you that was a defining moment for me, because it really did shape the next 20 years of my life, because I ended up becoming a professional musician. Now, who would have thought that the day this guy brings a bunch of instruments, to the school in 5th grade was going to impact my life like that? But it did. I chose the trumpet. I eventually didn't get quite the reaction of inbound. Trumpet. And then I later played the bass guitar, right? And I was in a touring rock band, right? My brothers and I were in this band. You can Google it to this day, called the Caruso Brothers. We did over 2,000 shows in North America, opening for acts like, and I don't know if you remember any of these people, Rick Springfield, do you remember that name? And Joan Jett, and UB40, and people like that. And it was fantastic, and we really had a lot of nice experiences in the music business. It was a lot of fun. I didn't know it at the time, of course, that I was going to become a professional speaker, which is what I do now. I teach presentation skills. So I help sales teams and leadership teams sharpen their game, right? And so I didn't know it at the time, but all those hours, 2,000 musical performances all over the world, was getting me ready to be on stage with you today, or the gig I have next weekend in New Mexico. So all of it was prepping me for the future, but I had no idea, the future being the most important, right? Maybe. So that was my first defining moment, was music. My second defining moment involved somebody else other than me, and it was 1997 when my father passed away. Now, I hope that you have both of your parents still, and I hope that you're treating them well, because you're not going to have them forever. And what happens usually is that your first parent passes away, and then later your second parent passes away, right? And I thought when my mother died that there was kind of a dress rehearsal for when my father would pass, you know, that I would somehow be used to the fact that I was losing my parents. But it didn't work out that way at all. When my father died, it was a different kind of train wreck. I didn't feel like I'd already experienced one parent's death already. I felt like it was a completely different, bad experience. And when my father died, it was a cutting of the mooring rope. You know that term that they use in boating? It's the mooring rope, are the ropes that tie the boats to the dock, right? And it was a cutting of that last mooring rope that I had, because my mom was gone now and my dad was gone now, and it was just me. And what made that such an impactful experience for me when my father passed away was I realized that I'm not going to live forever either, and that I should do something with my life that I really, really, really enjoy. And that's when I quit my job. I was doing sales in the telecommunication business. I quit my job to become a professional speaker. And the day I did that, the year I did that, I cut my pay in half, right? Sacrifice. And I never looked back, and I started to grow into the business that I have today as an author and a speaker and a consultant. But it was a defining moment when my father passed. My third defining moment, and I say this without any hesitation, I don't tell you just because we're at a Rotary event today, but my third defining life moment was joining Rotary, which I did as a result of another kind of trip that they were offering. Back in the day, it was called the Group Study Exchange. So it's the adult version of what you guys are doing as student exchange, exchangees. And I had the pleasure of going to South Africa for 5 weeks. It's a much shorter trip, and it changed my life. And I learned so much about Rotary as I was getting ready to go on the trip that I promised everybody I was going to join Rotary when I got back, and I did. And it's the best decision I've ever made. And I'll tell you why. It's because Rotary helped me understand that the world is bigger than just me. You see? Because I think another thing that happens when we're young is that we develop this thing called centrism. Y'all know what this is? A lot of times you hear another little word in front of centrism, like ethnocentrism. You know what that is? If you're outbound, you're about to find out, because, you know, we just sang the Star-Spangled Banner, right, the Canada National Anthem, right, and you get this feeling like, you know, our country's the greatest country in the world, right? And then you're going to go to Germany and find out that they think Germany's the best country in the world. Who knew? Who knew the Germans thought Germany was number one? Wherever you go, they're going to think their country's the best country in the world, you see, because everybody has this thing called ethnocentrism or geocentrism, right? Your ethnicity is the best. Your country's the best, right? And the worst form of centrism is called egocentrism. And that says, you think you're the best. And you're about to find out that ain't so true either. Because there's always somebody better than you. But that's the beautiful part about a trip like this, because it opens up your world, right? It shows you that, that you might be wrong about some of the things you think, and that can be very illuminating and actually kind of fun. Another way to open up your world, for those of you that, I know there are some parents in the room that actually, because you're going on a trip, they're not going on a trip this year. Or maybe next year. And so here's another great way to open up your life if you don't have money to go on a trip, is you can just read a book. Now, when I teach adults, because, you know, reading's way off. A lot of people don't read anymore. I teach my audiences, and there's a great YouTube video about this, actually, where I tell people, you should just carry a professional development book. Just carry one, you know, like this. I actually have 2 books with me today. But I'm just carry a professional development book. What happens when you carry a book? What do people think about you? Yeah, they think you're smart, don't they? Now, I think you should actually read the stupid book. I do. But if you never get around to reading it, it wouldn't hurt to just carry it, right? Here's what we know about carrying books and reading books. You never get to read the book that you don't have with you. Isn't that true? And I'll tell you something, from my short 5-week trip to South Africa, is you're going to want some quiet time on this trip. If you're outbound, you're going to want to get away from people once in a while on this trip. And a book can be your best friend. I brought 2 with me today. One is a book by Lewis Gould. It's a short little book. It's probably only got 120 pages. It's a really short book. But it's on my favorite president, U.S. president. This is on Theodore Roosevelt. And Roosevelt had some interesting stories, defining moments, if you will. Did you know Theodore Roosevelt's wife and mother died in the same evening? The baby's crying because I just said that. That's how sad that is, that a man's, mother and wife died in the same night, and children weep when I say that. Did you know that Theodore Roosevelt wrote, not read, wrote over 35 books in his lifetime? He's the most well-published president we've ever had. He was an amazing man. And you could take a little book like this, it's so thin, you could take a little book like this with you on your trip, and it could be one of your friends. It could open up your world when you need a little quiet moment. I also brought one of my books. This is a little 36-page brochure. It's called Little Ideas with Big Results. And it's got a few little things in here I like to remind people. I'm going to do a little piece for you in a minute on how to read people in any culture. It will be very helpful for you when you travel abroad. But, reading people, you can read them through verbal cues, or you can read them through what are called nonverbal cues, or what behavioral psychologists call neuro-linguistic programming. Like, I can read you right now. If I can see almost everybody from the stage. I can read you by how you're sitting. Did you know that? Oh, yeah. I'm gonna show you some of those tricks in a minute. Here's one of the little hmms. Do you believe what people say or what they do? What's the answer? What they do every time, right? And unfortunately, you're going to go through life and people will look you right in the eye and they'll say they're going to do something, but they don't do it. Or they say they believe something, but they don't act like they believe it. And anytime you ever get confused, that's a great little way to figure it out. Always believe what people do over what they say. And it's true in Rotary because we take our deeds very seriously, what we do in Rotary. I'll be around all weekend and I'll sign copies for you if you want. Would you like one? There you go. You're welcome. I'd give you this one, but it's from the library. I got to take it back. So words are important, right? Books have words in them, and words are important. I told you it's one of the ways that you can kind of figure people out to some extent. And so I wanted to give you very quickly the 15 most powerful words that you could ever use in any language, right? And some of you will have to learn how to do this in French or German or whatever country you're going to. But the 15 words are very powerful, and they work like a charm. And you don't have to worry about writing them down if you don't want to, because there's a YouTube video about this. Just Google my full name and Google 15 words, and it'll come up. So the 15 most powerful words you can ever use, right? And here they are. I'm going to give them to you like this. The 5 most important, the 4 most important, the 3, and they add up to 15, okay? So the 5 most important words are, I am proud of you. I'm proud of you. And what's interesting for people your age is that I'm proud of you is used a lot with you, but you don't use it a lot with other people. And I'm pointing up because a lot of times young people think that everybody's above them on the org chart, like somehow, well, let me put it this way, and I don't know how you'll take this, but your parents are no better than you. They're not. I mean, they're just people. They have all the money. They have the keys to the car. And they're the boss, but they're really no better than you. I mean, they're just people. And so what happens is Parents use this phrase a lot with younger people. They say, I'm proud of you, but the younger people usually don't say it upward. I'm proud of you, Daddy, or I'm proud of you, Mom. And if you ever want to really, like parents, close your ears for just a second if you would. If you ever really want to get your parents' attention, just pull them aside in like a quiet moment and say, hey, Dad, I'm really proud of you. I'm really proud of how you've, keep up the home and how you make money and you take care of all of us. Thanks a lot, Dad. That'll be a good day for you. And you could do the same thing with Mom, Mom, I'm really proud of you, the way you get up every morning and you go to work and you're always so beautiful and all the things you do for us in the home. Thank you so much, Mom. I'm really proud of the way that you've helped raise this family and you've been a good mom. Oh, yeah, I love it. The 4 most powerful words are, what is your opinion? What is your opinion, or what do you think? And it's an interesting thing. In the information age, we're tricked. You have been tricked into thinking you need to know everything. And I want to tell you something. Nobody knows everything, right? I'm supposed to be the professional speaker that knows everything. And I always tell people, I'm sure there's someone in the room that knows more about this topic than I do. And that really takes the heat off of me, you see, because now I don't have to know everything. I just put it on the expert in the room, whoever it is, right? Anybody seen the new Aaron Sorkin TV show? It's called The Newsroom. Has anybody seen it? How do you like the dialogue in that? Isn't it like a machine gun? Just keeps coming at you, right? Like they've got all the answers on this show. Very quickly, very glib, right? It's not really real, right? People don't talk like that. Nobody has all the answers, and it's okay to ask people their opinion. In fact, what I've learned is people like it when you ask their opinion. When you actually say, what do you think I should do? Oh, man, they just pull up a chair. Let me tell you what I think you should do, Let's order sandwiches. It's going to take a while to tell you what I think. And so when you ask people their opinion, it's very powerful. The 3 most powerful words you can ever use with another person are, will you please? I think we stopped using that phrase when email was invented. Now we just tell people what we want. The 2 most powerful words are what? Thank you, unless you're going to France, in which case it's just 1 word. Merci. And what's the number 1 most powerful word you can ever use with another person? Sorry? No, it's not hello. It's not please. No. 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 The answer, it's the person's name. That's the most powerful word, right? And that's why it's really important to remember people's names. And I'm going to show you, how many of you could be better at remembering names? Raise your hand. Yeah. I'm going to show you a technique for remembering names. Would that be useful to you? Okay, we're going to do that in just a second. So I need a couple of volunteers from the studio audience. 10 volunteers. First 10 people right here. Right now. Right now. 10. 10 people. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We have an action shot, ladies and gentlemen. Jim Carrolley from District 6400. How are you, sir? What is your name and where? You don't. What did you say?
I don't speak English.
You just said that. You just said that in English. How can you not speak English?
Sorry. My name?
Yes.
Kenneth.
Kenneth, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Pleasure, sir. How are you?
I'm good.
What's your name? Where are you from?
Rachel from Holland, Michigan.
Rachel, how are you?
Good.
Your name and where are you from?
Chelsea. I'm from Racine, Wisconsin.
Chelsea from Racine. Great.
I'm Carmen from Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario.
Good. You know what they say about Ontario? It's like another country.
I'm Kelly from Petoskey, Michigan.
Welcome.
Miles from South Bend.
They were cheering. No, it's not your fault. One more time, Miles.
Miles from South Bend.
Very good. Thank you.
Magda from Wisconsin.
When you said that, you seemed surprised that you were Magda from Wisconsin.
I didn't know you were going to ask me something else first. It was very confusing.
Are you okay now? Okay, good. Hi.
Hi, I'm Corinne from Wawa, Ontario.
Wawa?
Yeah, it's the city of the goose, the big goose, yeah.
Okay, very good. Who are you?
I'm Jason from Traverse City, Michigan.
Jason.
I'm Nathania from Goddard, Ontario.
Yes, you are.
Which name do you want? I have 3 or 4 thanks to exchange.
And you are?
I'm Hannah from Westmont, Illinois.
Hannah from where?
Westmont, Illinois.
Oh, you probably heard that. She's Hannah from Illinois, not the other one. Okay, and you are?
I'm Sarah from Grosse Pointe, Michigan.
Great, thank you very much. And just give us your favorite name.
Mai Lao Hu.
All right. Give us your second favorite name.
Austin.
Austin, nice to see you. All right. So we told you we're going to help you remember names. Can you remember all of their names so far? We're so good? What? No? Okay, I'm going to show you a cool little trick. Let me see your names, please. I need to see the spellings. Corinne. What's that? Yes, it's backwards, I know. Would you flip it? Okay, thank you. All right, very good. Jason, Corinne, would you step forward, please? How are you? So, Corinne, I'm going to show you how to remember somebody's name. Could you be better at this?
I could be way better at this.
Okay, what's the problem? Why can't you remember names? What do you think the issue is?
I just can't remember them. I don't know.
Well, you think you're like...
Yeah, that's it. That's definitely it.
But you think everybody is,
Yeah, no, I don't.
What is it about remembering names that's so hard? What do you think, everybody? What do you think? Because there's so many different names. She says there are too many Sarahs in the world, which right away, I thought that was a big problem. And as soon as I started looking into this, way too many Sarahs in the world. Okay, Corinne, I'm going to show you how to do this, okay? So we're going to pretend that we're at a little mixer tonight, and you and I both have a soda. Are you left-handed? Yeah. Oh, you are? Okay. Would you turn around, please? We're kind of just at the party. We're going to literally bump into each other. Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. Hi. Hi, my name's Michael Caruso.
I'm Corinne Boucher.
So she gives me her name, and now I'm going to start practicing this technique. Now, it's called cluster imprinting. And the reason, where's Ron at? Ron, are you here? Ron Burton? Ron, you could probably get better with names, couldn't you? This guy's going to meet he's going to meet 1.2 million Rotarians in the next 12 months. He could use this. All right, so cluster imprinting. Here we go. So she says her name, and now I'm going to get it to my brain a number of other times, and I'm going to do it in a way that is completely transparent to Corinne. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do this. Are you moving on my girl? And the boys stay in the boys' rooms. We're watching. Okay. So we run into each other. Corinne gives me her name. It hits my brain. And watch how many times I get Corinne's name to my brain in 8 seconds. Will you do it again? Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. Hi, my name's Michael Caruso. What's your name?
Corinne Boucher.
Corinne. What an interesting name. Is that Corinne with a K or Corinne with a C?
Corinne with a K. With a K.
All right, hold on. A little caveat here. If the other person isn't really sure of their name, it makes this exercise a lot harder. Okay, so where was I? 5? I think 5. 5. So I say now, so Corinne, where are you from? And she says?
Wawa, Ontario.
Wawa, Ontario. I say, fabulous. And how long have you been in Michigan, Corinne? 8 times.
2 days.
2 days, great. Corinne, have you met your new boyfriend, Jason? 9 times, Corinne. And what do I say to Corinne before I say goodbye? Bye, nice to meet you, Corinne. 10 times in like 2 minutes. I will never forget Corinne's name, and now neither will you. Thank you, nice job. You can go have a seat if you'd like. So there are no stairs here, which makes me wonder, how did they get up here? Okay, so we're going to show you now some body language techniques. Could we have all of the guys step forward, please? That was easy. Kenneth, no H. Miles. Jason. Austin. So the thing about body language, or NLP, is that it's sometimes very, very gender specific, which means guys send much different signals than ladies do. And this body language is important because it can tell you everything about a person. It can tell you how they're feeling. It can tell you where they're from. It can tell you all kinds of things about them. And so I want to show you a little bit about this using our models that we have in front of us today. Now, they've had a few seconds to stand in front of you and like this, and they've adopted what's called the default position. So you'll notice that Kenneth has his hands behind his back, arms are crossed, arms at his side, and here. Now, when you step forward, your hands were in your pockets. Would you put your hands in your pockets briefly? All of your hand. Thank you. And the reason is I want to see 4 different things going on. Your hands, Kenneth, were behind you. I never want to see that going on. Just kidding. So we have 4 different things, here, here, here. Would you put your hands like this? In front of you like this. Very good. Okay, so now, we got a couple cool things going. And all of these have names, right? And as soon as I tell you the name, you're going to know if it's a good body position or a bad body position. You're going to have a blast with this later on today, okay? This is called parade rest, often with the hands clasped behind at the wrist down here, right? Yeah. So, and if you stand like this, Ken, it's called parade rest because it's a military position, right? It's often a passive position, right? So if you were working as a supervisor at the neighborhood pool, right? And you wanted to show that you were in charge, this might not be the best because it's kind of a passive position, parade rest. This one is interesting, and you'll see this a lot from people who are a little insecure about what's happening. Now, I think I positioned Miles like this. I don't know that Miles feels insecure. In fact, I kind of doubt it. I doubt if Miles has ever been insecure. Am I right? You're not an insecure person. Oh, you are? Okay. So you'll see this a lot, and you'll see it. I'll show you something with the ladies in just a second that's fascinating about this, okay? So also, the hands in the pockets. Jason, a very natural pose for guys is the hands in the pockets, usually accompanied by motion and sound, you know, change, stuff like this. And I don't even want to see it. And the thing is, like you tell somebody you're really confident or yeah, you can do it, you know, and you got the nervous thing going, they don't believe you. You tell them you're not nervous, but you show them you are. Remember what I said. People believe what you do. So hands out of the pockets. Excellent. And this is, of course, is called the fig leaf. And that's all you need to know. I need one guy to stay with me. Jason, you stay. The other 3, round of applause for my buddies here. Jason.
Is it a secret?
Can you play piano, Jason?
Yeah.
Oh, you can?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I want you to sit at that piano, but don't play it. Ladies, one step forward, please. Good-looking group. All right. Right now, the ladies are, again, assuming the default position, trying to decide what's next for them. Okay, just freeze, and some of you literally are freezing. So I want to show you, now this is cool. If you have your arms right at your side, would you step forward one step, Kelly, one step, Hannah, not from Montana. And this is called the natural. Like you didn't say it earlier today. So this is called the natural position. You know, some of you may wonder, what's the okay thing to do with your hands? Well, this is totally okay. It's just leave your hands right at the bottom of your arms. That's where they belong. You know, does it look unnatural when they stand like this? Does it? Kind of. Does it feel natural?
Yes.
It does? Okay. Does it feel natural to stand with your hands like that?
Not right now.
Right now, yeah. Is it because everybody's watching? But you see, they don't. This is your chance to shine, so you don't want to say you're nervous or anything. And you would say, right. And you'd say you're nervous if you did anything else with your hands. You understand? This is what psychologists call a tell, right? You hear this term a lot if you're in all kinds of sports and all kinds of negotiations, there are things like a tell. And so you want to stay away from them. Okay, so ladies, thank you very much. Nice job. Forward. So we got your hands on the hips. We're going to cross your arms. How about this one? Can you do that? Perfect. You got your hands in your pockets? What did I just say? Okay. Sarah. Okay. This is also a cool pose. This is called, anybody know what it's called? It's very good. It's called the thinker pose. It's based on Rodin, the thinker, the statue, right? Remember that? And what this says is that she is thinking. And it sounds really corny, like it couldn't possibly be effective in real life, but it is. If you want somebody to know that you're thinking about what they just said, all you have to do is this. I can promise you it's the most powerful thing you could ever do. Again, Mr. Burton, this would be good for you as Rotary International President to look like you're thinking sometime during the year, sir. It may seem like I know Ron. I've never met him, and this is probably not a good first impression. So let's practice this together. Hands at your sides. When I say go, I want you to move one of your hands to the lower part of your face, and I want you to say something like, that's interesting. Ready? Here we go. Go. That's interesting. Scratch the beard, ladies. Thank you. Guess what this one's called? Attitude. Is it good for you or bad for you? Well played. She said, let me think about that. Thank you very much. I know that you're cold.
Very
You've
cool.
been a good sport. I'll be done with you in like 30 seconds.
Okay, good.
Okay, so here's the thing. Ladies will say in their defense, because ladies do this a lot, where the guys put their hands in their pockets, ladies will cross their arms. Ladies walk around like this. And in their defense, they won't say, well, it's not because I have an attitude or it's not because I'm stuck up. I do this because I'm cold. Well, ladies, there's a new invention out. It's called the sweater. And if you wear the sweater, you won't be cold, and then you don't have to cross your arms. Watch powerful women. Powerful women do not cross their arms. They don't. Round of applause for Carmen, a fast learner. Are you cold too?
Yeah, a little.
All right, get out of here. Sarah, was this helpful?
I suppose.
Have you ever heard anything about this before, this body language and all this kind of thing?
Oh, I'm really good at interpreting body language.
Oh, you're good at it. All right, very good. Well, you and I are going to have dinner. We're going to talk shop, okay? Nice to meet you. Thank you very much. Terrific. Jason. Oh, wait, Jason, you say you play? You said you play piano. What do you believe, what somebody says or what somebody does? Well done. You got more applause than I got, Jason. Never, ever stand up the keynote speaker.
Did I tell you you're doing a great job?
Yeah, thank you, sir. All right, I want to show you now how to deliver the perfect handshake. The perfect handshake. I never thought I would be teaching this to anybody. I teach it in my professional development seminars to Fortune 500 companies because so many people do not know how to shake hands. I don't know what the problem is here, but I found out I needed to do this once when I was speaking in Kansas. Anybody here from Kansas? Good. I was working the room before I talked. How are you? Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming. And I got to this kid. He was about 26 years old. I held out my hand. I shook his hand. He did everything wrong you could do in a handshake. My hand fell out of his hand as I was shaking it. No eye contact, no backbone, no pleasure in meeting me, nothing. And I said to him, because I had been thinking about adding this into my program, "Sir, I've been thinking about adding a component to my program called the Perfect Handshake, and I'm asking people, where did you learn to shake hands? Where did you learn to shake hands, sir?" And I'll never forget his answer. He did look at me when he said this. He said, "From watching television." And I found out later he did not have a father to teach him how to shake hands. And I felt bad about that because that meant he was going to go his whole life sending bad signals about himself. And it would be so hard for him to get ahead without having a perfect handshake. So I showed him that day. And I'm going to show Jason right now. Hold out your hand like this. Most important part of the handshake is this fleshy area between the thumb and the forefinger. It's called the web. The idea is to establish what's called web-to-web contact. Because when you do, you're going to have fun with this at dinner. When you do this, you establish what's called a firm, assertive grip. Firm, assertive, okay, you can let go. Firm, assertive handshake feels good, doesn't it? It even sounds good to connect with somebody. There are three types of handshakes. The firm, assertive handshake. There's a thing called the dead fish handshake. You laugh, but some of you have it. That's when they just give you a couple fingers to work with. And the third handshake is called the bone crusher. So I'm going to show you how to protect yourself from the other two handshakes. Anytime somebody gives you the dead fish handshake, all you need to do, you're going to just give me a couple fingers. Is You grab the, you have to do this quickly now. You're going to grab the person's, thank you. You're going to grab the person's wrist with your left hand and pull it, you know, they just give you that, right? So you're going to pull it all the way in, web to web, right? And grab the wrist or their hand from underneath, never on top, right? Not everybody likes the two-handed handshake, right? So the idea is that you have a lot of different tools in your tool belt when you're meeting people, and it's going to be especially important when you go to a foreign country. Am I right? Now let me show you how to defend against the bone crusher. What signal is the bone crusher sending you? If it's negotiation, I'm going to grind you down on price. If he's a bigger person than you, the message is I'm bigger than you. It could mean anything. I'm going to intimidate you later on, right? It's always a signal. Now I'm going to show you the technique to defend against the bone crusher, who is almost always a man, and then you're never going to do it. No man in the room will ever do this technique, and you'll see why as soon as I demonstrate. Jason. No. You're going to be the bone crusher. You're going to pretend to hurt me. Pretend. Okay. With a handshake. And then when he pretends to hurt me, I am going to respond as if he's hurt me with the technique. The technique that none of you will do. Okay, you ready? Here we go. Pretend. This does not require a running start. Just stand there. "500 people in the room, and I pick the thespian." Okay. Pretend to hurt me. Ready? Ow! That hurt. You see why no man will ever use that technique? Now, if I say to him, that hurt, what is he likely to say to me right away? I'm sorry, which is exactly what I want him to say, you see? He's sending a message, I'm going to intimidate you. Right away I tell him, oh, no, you're not. And he says, sorry, my bad. And that's how it works. How about a round of applause for Jason? Nice job. So we want you to find your voice when you go out on this trip. We want you to find your voice when you come home from the trip. We want you to go tell people what a beautiful world we live in. We want you to talk about Rotary, the professional service organization that just runs the table every time we do a program. Are you enjoying yourselves so far? I have a quick goodbye story before we go. And I wanted to also take any questions from the audience. That's also a fun part of the afternoon if you care to do that. We have a few minutes left. If you care to keep in touch with me after today, you can find me on the Troy Rotary Facebook page. I'm president of my club this year. I'm so happy. And it's just facebook.com. Thank you. And you can remember this. It's facebook.com/Troy Rotary. So fb.com/TR, Troy Rotary, okay? Questions about anything we've talked about today, anything about me personally. This is kind of a fun part of the program. Just shout it out and I'll repeat the question if you have anything at all. What did he say? What did he say? Oh, you don't know? I didn't hear. What did you say? Oh, you're proud of me. Thank you very much. I'm proud of you too. Questions? Thoughts? What is my opinion? Okay, I want you to use this stuff, but not on me. Questions about Rotary? What's a thespian? What's a Google? Any other? Yeah, question.
How did you make the switch from like professional musician to professional speaker? Did you go to school? Did you take some psychology? What did you do?
I had a medium job between musician and speaker. I went out into the real world and did sales, and I worked a couple of conventional jobs, and that taught me that I need to be up there. I like to be in front of people. I like being on stage. I liked it as a musician, and now I perform in a different kind of way. So it was a process. I had to, try other things. And you're all working the process right now, trying to find out who you are and what your voice is. You want to shout it out? Do I believe the past, present, or future is most important? Yeah, it's the future, baby. Why? Because you can't do anything about the past, and the present is already done. By the time you think about the present, it's already done. The present has a lot of temptation, like instant gratification, right? And if you just live for the present all the time, you never invest in your own future. You don't take care of yourself. You won't save any money, right? And even when you have kids and you do get older, then you're thinking about the future of your children, which is what Rotary is doing with this program, right? This program lives a long time after you are in it, right? Because now you're going to go tell other people about it. At lunch, I had lunch with people today that told me that they had experience with Rotary when they were in school. Parents were telling me this. Other comments, questions? Yes, sir. Information about body language, sure. You want to Google NLP, that's Nancy Larry Paul. It stands for Neuro-Linguistic Programming. Body language, you can also Google body language and learn a ton about it. They'll have, yeah, okay. So it's a fabulous, it's psychology, right? Other questions? You guys are cool. Did you guys pay to get in? Anything else? Oh. You're in like another zip code. The question is about kissing on either side of the cheek, and what about it? What is it? What is the etiquette? And I'm sure there's somebody that knows more about this than I do. Do we have any Frenchmen in the room? Frenchman? French woman, even better. I feel a demo coming on. Is it you? Stand up. Well, apparently you get around. What's your name and where are you from?
Augustine, and I'm from France.
Okay, so what's the deal with the two-cheek kiss?
It's just between girls, or it will be with your grandparents if you're a man, but it's not two men together.
It's not, but we see a lot of men do it.
If it's your grandparents or a close relative.
Okay.
But you don't.
Okay. And you do two cheeks. Would you ever move to three cheeks?
Yeah, it depends on the part of France that you are in. In my city, it's two.
And that's another thing you'll learn about humor when you go overseas. A lot of times, American humor doesn't work. So thank you very much. Is it which side first? Is it? Well, I never thought we'd cover this. Anything else? Yes, Austin, my favorite name. What's up, brother? Yeah, tip for remembering confusing foreign names. This one's simple, man. You're going to love this. So you meet somebody, and you can even try my technique, and they say, yeah, my name's... And you'll say, huh? And they say, my name's... And you'll say, could you please say it slower? And they'll say, sure, it's... And now you're getting embarrassed, right? Because even my technique's not working. And so you say, and this is the magic line, Austin, listen carefully. You say to the person, you say, okay, what do your friends call you? It's always something simpler. And then he says, Mr. T. And then you say, then I'll call you Mr. T if that's okay. And now what have you done, Austin? You've made yourself a new friend. You see how cool that technique is? Very nice. The sun comes out. I have a 30-second goodbye story for you. You're going to love it. It's an airplane story. I'm getting on a plane at Detroit Metropolitan Airport, and the pilot comes on as people are boarding to say, ladies and gentlemen, would you please take your seats as soon as possible? We would like to leave early. Never heard a pilot say this before. Didn't know a plane could leave early. Boy, it works like a charm. Everybody buckles in, man, all settled down, and I'm telling you, we're ready to take off. Pilot comes on one more time. He says, thank you very much for your cooperation. I'm so glad that that worked good because we need to leave right now. If we don't, we're expecting weather, and that means we'll be delayed, and you could miss your connection. So this is great news, right? He says, by the way, the takeoff's going to be fairly turbulent. Now, whenever they say fairly turbulent, he means rough. And he was right, man. This was a rock and roll, herky-jerky takeoff. Even us white-knuckled flyers, or us experienced flyers were white-knuckled in the plane taking off. But you know what? As we started to gain altitude, the higher we climbed, the smoother the flight. And we climbed, and we climbed, and we climbed into bright, pristine sunshine. And you know why this is possible? Because the sun is out every day, isn't it? And all you need to decide as a person, as a student exchangee, all you need to decide is whether you're going to fly your plane in the clouds or above them. Thank you very much. We have a ton of cool stuff for you to do. I'm going to be around and look forward to meeting as many people as I can. Thank you so much for being part of our program. Bye.